Nubia Red Magic 7 Review. Arguably the most powerful mid-range phone you can buy. Smartphones designed specifically for gaming still feel like a relatively new concept, but Nubia has been extremely prolific during that time. In the 4 years since the first Red Magic handset, the Chinese company has unveiled no fewer than 13 gaming phones. Not all of these have been released outside China, but that doesn't apply to the Red Magic 7 series. Both the regular and Pro models are getting a global launch, although the Pro won't arrive until later in the year. As a result, it's the standard Red Magic 7 that's my focus here. On paper, there are only minor upgrades compared to 2021's 6S Pro. But almost no one will be upgrading every 6 months, so the bigger question is how it stacks up to the best gaming phones you can buy. After spending a couple of weeks with the Red Magic 7, here's my full review. Despite all the changes between generations, Red Magic phones have maintained a relatively consistent design throughout. It remains the case here as the Red Magic 7 is a large, bulky device with a bold aesthetic that's sure to turn heads, but in the right way? That's especially true on the Cyborg model I tested, where transparent glass on the back allows you to see some internal screws and the built-in fan. This kicks into life when charging and running demanding apps, doing a good job of preventing any overheating. Despite not being visible, Nubia has used this finish as an opportunity to highlight the Red Magic 7's key specs, by literally printing them all over the back. It leaves you in no doubt that the Snapdragon 8 General 1 chip, 64MP camera, 165Hz screen and 720Hz touch sampling rate are all on board. Gaming enthusiasts may like this design, but it's not something I'm a fan of. Alternatives are available in the form of Obsidian, Pulsar and Supernova finishes, although only the former has anything like an understated design. The display is arguably the most crucial aspect of any phone, and Red Magic phones have consistently produced impressive results. That explains why there are almost no upgrades to the Red Magic 7's display. It remains a 6.8 inches, 1080x2400 AMOLED panel. I'd like to see the resolution increased to 1440p, but it's not a priority. Most Play Store games run at 1080p anyway. A class-leading 165Hz refresh rate is still here, but the previous 2 generations of Red Magic handsets also have this feature. However, unlike some other phones, it's not adaptive. You're limited to 60, 90, 120, 144 or 165 Hz, with no way to automatically switch between them. This also means the phone can't drop below 60 Hz to help preserve battery life where appropriate. However, you do now get 720 Hz touch sampling, one of the highest you'll find on any phone. That makes it incredibly responsive. Combined with silky smooth 165 Hz visuals, this could give you a crucial upper hand during online multiplayer gaming. Indeed, it's important not to be too harsh on Nubia here. The Red Magic 7's display is still mightily impressive, offering great detail and an impressive range of vivid colors. Nubia says it can hit 708 nits at max brightness, but even the 508 I recorded makes it relatively easy to use outdoors. The screen is great, but I was underwhelmed with the quality of the stereo speakers, which were lacking in detail despite plenty of bass. This is still an improvement on the usual quality of built-in phone speakers though, and you can always connect wired or wireless headphones instead. Despite starting at a mid-range price, Nubia always includes the latest and greatest Qualcomm chip in Red Magic handsets. In the case of the Red Magic 7, that's the Snapdragon 8 General 1. Qualcomm claims the move to 4nm process yields big performance improvements, but it's marginal gains on flagship phones. It also, as you would expect, comes with support for 5G networks. I can't honestly say I noticed a difference compared to the 6S Pro, even with a mind-blowing 18GB of RAM on board. You'll struggle to find anything that can cause even a moment's hesitation, but these high-end specs should help with future-proofing, too. Provided your internet connection is strong, it also means gaming on the Red Magic 7 is a delight. Whether you're in the midst of combat on Call of Duty Mobile, taking to the tracks on Real Racing 3 or controlling the world's best footballers on FIFA Mobile, the experience is consistently top-notch. However, storage may be a problem for some people, with only 128GB and 256GB models available globally. It's not clear why the 512GB version is a China exclusive, especially with no option for expandable storage. As expected, the Red Magic 7 runs Nubia's custom Red Magic OS over Android 12. Parent company ZTE doesn't make any specific commitments on software support, but the phone should be updated to Android 13 at the very least. This is the fifth major version of Red Magic OS, although it's very much in keeping with previous iterations. From testing previous Red Magic phones, this was instantly familiar, but it will take some getting used to for anyone new to it. That's your only option here, as the default launcher still can't be swapped out for something else from the Play Store. The phone retains full Google support, including the Discover feed next to the home screen. All the features you'd want are here, it just doesn't feel as intuitive as the version on Google or Samsung phones. On paper, the Red Magic 7 has an identical camera system to its predecessor. That's a triple rear setup, consisting of 64MP wide, 8MP ultrawide and 2MP macros. However, it looks like Nubia has made some improvements on the software side. In good lighting conditions, the Red Magic 7 delivers vibrant shots brimming with detail. Dynamic range is also pretty good, but exposure remains a challenge. The sky is often wildly overexposed. The phone is better suited to shots where there's a clear subject in frame. That helps explain some impressive portrait photos, despite struggling for edge detection at times. I achieved some good results with people, cats and signs. Disappointingly, the Red Magic 7 has a smaller battery than both the 6S and 6S Pro, 4500 mAh compared to 5050 mAh. It sounds like a minor change, but it's enough for battery life to become one of the phone's main weaknesses. Assuming you're playing games every day, a single charge may not be enough to make it through a full day. At 165 Hz, I recorded 7 hours and 55 minutes in Geekbench 4's battery test. Our usual PCMark test would not run. However, this is only a simple measure of screen on time at a relatively low 120 nits of brightness. In reality, you won't get nearly as much real-world usage before needing to reach for the charger. One way to mitigate this is choosing a lower refresh rate, but you're not buying a 165 Hz phone to run it at 60 or 90 Hz. Despite being the standard model, the Red Magic 7 has a higher price than last year's 6S Pro. You'll pay at least £529 for $629 at launch, although you do get a generous 12GB RAM in exchange. A mid-spec configuration costs £619 for $729, while the high-end model I tested will set you back £679 for $799. All three are now available from the Red Magic website in the UK and US. That's approaching flagship phone territory, but the Red Magic 7 is primarily competing with the best gaming phones you can buy.